Tiffany Haynes here. Welcome to another edition of God's Math. And this here is one of my favorite topics. And it's only my favorite topic because it's probably my biggest pet peeve. And it's one of those things that is a simple correction, but it's not easy. So it's simple, but not easy. And this is to speak life, to be a good steward over the words that come out of your mouth. Because I think we underestimate when God says death and life are in the power of the tongue. I think we underestimate that. I think we think God playing. I don't think we take him serious. Matter of fact, I know you don't because of the stuff you say. It's impossible for you to believe that you truly believe that death and life is in the power of the tongue by some of the things that you say. And I think that is just because you haven't had a revelation of when he says death and life in the power of the tongue is everything you say. It doesn't matter if you say it just because you're mad. It doesn't matter if you say it jokingly. It doesn't matter if you say it without thinking. It doesn't matter. The fact you said it, it has the power to bring death and to bring life. And so I want you to go on a journey with me and be open to the fact that you potentially have been doing this all wrong, that you potentially haven't had a deep enough revelation around this scripture. And that if you actually listen, then whatever time frame this takes for me to teach you this, it could change your life. If you come into agreement with me right now in this moment, within the first 2 minutes of this video, that it's possible that that can happen in this one video, it can happen in your life. I'm telling you what I know. Because a lot of times we say things because we heard mama say it, grandma say it, colloquialisms, little things that are funny and things that are trending, things that you heard on social media, you heard in viral videos, and now you find yourself repeating those things and you think it has no impact on you. But it's so interesting to me because the scripture doesn't say death and life are in the power of the tongue. And you know what I'm saying? If you're just playing around, it's okay. God understands. God has a sense of humor. It doesn't say that. I'm just going off of what it say. I'm just going off of what it say. You know why? Because God is not a man that he can lie. So if he tell me death and life is in the power of the tongue and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, guess what? I'm going to believe him. Let's just put the scripture up. I've said it a few times, but we'll put it up because I'm about to break this sucker down. All right. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Let's stop right there. Death and life. That lets me know that anything I say has initiated a contract. Death and life. It's a matter of life and death. You know, some people say, if it's not a matter of life and death, I'm not going to worry about it. Well, he's saying right here, your words is a matter of life and death. And I looked up death because I'm like, well, maybe it's not like death. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's like you know what I'm saying? Whatever you're talking about, it's going to have a negative connotation. And I looked up death in the Bible, in this scripture, okay? Because there's some times where he mentions his death, it has a different definition. Well, in this scripture, death and life are in the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. You know what death meant? To die, to be dead, death. And I said, well, my God, well, you wasn't, okay, well, there's nothing else to see here. Because what he's telling me is no, death and life are in the power. Your words out of your mouth could kill you. That's how powerful they are. And the good thing and the bad thing about that is your words can bring you life. The thing about a spiritual law is it works both ways, which means it has the power to do good, it has the power to do bad. It has the power to bring life, and it has the power to do the extreme opposite, which is death. What this means is this is both exciting and it can be a little bit scary at the same time, because when you're not being a good steward of a thing, then you're initiating a death contract. When you're being a good steward of a thing, then you're initiating a life contract. This is the power of your words. Okay, let's break it down even further. Death and life are the power of the tongue. We now understand that our words are going to initiate a contract that can bring death or life. Okay, now let's go to the second part. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. There's our favorite word. Okay, what you'll understand about this entire series is we're always going to get back to fruit. We're always going to get back to seed, because God tells us that we are to be fruitful. God tells us that fruit is defined by the seed being within itself. That's Genesis 1 and 11. Okay. And the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind. Fruit yields after its kind, which means it duplicates what it is. It doesn't duplicate a variation of what it is. It doesn't duplicate a different fruit. It's going to replicate what it is. The words you speak, whatever the definition of that word is, your life is going to replicate what that is. You immediately say, you have permission to be activated in my life, whatever that word is. You have my permission, because the Bible tells us the fact you spoke it means you came into agreement with the word, and you signed the contract that word could be activated in your life. And the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is where? Within itself. It's within itself. So if I say, they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof, that lets me know that my words are seed, and it's going to go into the ground and show up in my life. And just go into the ground and show up in my life. And the thing about harvest is that there's a seed time and then there's a harvest time. But because it doesn't happen immediately, I don't always make the connection that what I'm seeing in my life is a reflection of the words I spoke, because time passed. And so it's enough time where I've now made the disconnection that I activated a spiritual law 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago with the words I spoke, and it went into the ground and it showed up in my life. And it went into the ground and it showed up in my life. Guess what? I'm going to show you what that looks like. You tell your teenage son, you always messing up. You can't do anything right. Yeah, that's why I don't even ask you to do anything. You know why? Because you can't do anything right. Guess what anything means? It means nothing at all. They don't do anything right. And by power that is vested in you, okay, as the mother of that child, you have a certain power and authority over them that when you speak words, it's activated even further. You say, Tip, where you get that from? The word? Look at the Old Testament. When these men were dying, okay, these kids were sitting at their feet waiting for the blessing of their father, to wait for the things that he would say, because God was going to honor it, because that was their father. What does that tell me? That there's an additional authority that I have, that when I speak it over my babies, it's going to come to pass. And you say, well, that's exciting. It sure is. And it's scary if you say the wrong thing. So if I say to my teenage son, you don't do nothing right, guess what's going to happen? It's going to go into the ground and it's going to show up in his life. My words will go into the ground and it'll show up in his life. Let me show you what that looks like. You say it, okay? You said it March 2015. March 2017, he gets his first job. He has his first job for 90 days. He gets fired because it went into the ground and it showed up in his life. All right. He gets a good girl. Oh, she's a good Christian girl. Oh, you love her. You love her so much. Guess what? He screwed it up. Didn't last 3 months. Why? Because you don't do nothing right. So it went into the ground and it showed up in his life. And now he's getting ready to go to college, and he's pursuing different schools. And guess what? They all tell him no, because he can't do nothing right. Because your words went into the ground and it showed up in his life. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. And they that love it, whatever you love to say, you'll eat that fruit. You love to talk death, baby, you'll eat death. You love to talk negative, baby, you'll eat negative. You love to talk life, baby, you'll eat life. And I'm a living witness. If you shut down the negative words, it'll shut down in your life. It will no longer have authority. It'll no longer have access. The contracts will be canceled and contracts will be nullified. You'll be in breach of contract of your negative contract because you're speaking too much life. Okay, y'all don't get it. Let me just read a contract off for you, for my peoples. Okay, let me just pull up a little contractual agreement. Pull up a contractual agreement. Why don't we? Here we go. You say, I feel behind. Mm. Oh, Tiff, it seems like everybody is getting some advantages on life, and I'm not. I feel behind. Let's the definition of behind, because remember the seed. If the word is the fruit, the definition is the seed. So I feel behind. Behind means at or to the far side of. Okay, just get over there somewhere. At to the far side of something. Typically, as to be hidden by it. I can't even see, girl. You behind? I can't even see. Hmm. Can't even see it. So you say I feel behind. So guess what you did? You put it into the ground. It's gonna show up in your life. And it might not show up in a day or a week. Sometimes it does. Okay. I've seen it show up immediately sometimes, but most cases it's a seed. God by nature of the definition of God saying you'll eat the fruit thereof means it's going to take some time to show up in your life, but it's going to go into the ground. Mark 11:23 says that you'll have whatever you say it, which means whatever you say over and over again. So if you have little phrases and little things you say all the time, um, what God is saying then is now you just made it inevitable. Like now grace may not even apply to you because you keep saying it. By nature of my spiritual law, I have to give it to you because you keep saying it. I feel behind. Definition of behind, at or to the far side of something, typically as to be hidden by it. I don't even see you. So you say it. Here's what heaven hears. A contract. Heaven hears a contract. Father, I decree and declare that I am behind. I give full permission for the definition of this word to be activated in my life. I would like to be hidden, inferior. If I'm in a room with 5 people and one of them is a person of influence, you have my permission to hide me, have me be overlooked. It will happen so much that when people I know do it, I'll have a visceral reaction to them, which will further push them away and perpetuate being overlooked and hidden. I know you said I am the head and not the tail, but actually, I prefer to be the tail. I know you said I'm above and not beneath, but actually, I prefer to be beneath. I hereby certify that this is and shall be my life. Signed, your name. Because it goes into the ground and it shows up in your life. It's a contract and a seed. Okay. Let's do one more. I'm broke. Girl, I can't go. I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Definition of broke, you have no money. You have no money. God can't even give you money because you announced that you're broke. And I am means, and it came to pass. So here, this is the reason why I say I certify that this is and shall be my life, because that means you're saying that you are there presently and in the future. Every time you say it, I'm broke, I'm sick, I am presently and in the future. I'm this what the words mean. So I don't know why y'all getting mad, because I can feel it, okay, through the video that you're getting mad at me. But this is what y'all be, this is how y'all be talking. And I don't know why y'all do that, but this is what y'all do. So I'm broke. You say I'm broke. You just signed a contract. This is what heaven hears. Father, I decree and declare that I am now and in the future with like just enough not to starve to death and be homeless. If I get $100, if you could please send a flat tire, a stolen phone, overdraft fees, any inconvenience you can come up with to come right along and take it away will do. When that happens, I will say, if it ain't one thing, it's another. So I never have any relief from back-to-back emergencies. When I see others that are not signing the broke definition contract, living their best life, I've officially opened up the door to a spirit of jealousy. Because for the life of me, I won't be able to figure out what they're doing differently. When the company is handing out hefty raises, make sure the money dries up right before they start with my department. Even though me and all my friends rode together to the concert, you can choose me to have someone steal my wallet. I had a little extra birthday money in there anyway, and you did not hear me. I said I was broke, which means I have no room for overflow. That birthday money was getting eerily close to me having a little more than just enough. I hereby certify that this is and shall be my life. Signed, your name. Because it goes into the ground and it shows up in your life. Romans 4:17 says, call those things that are not as though they were. He's not saying it so you be out here looking crazy. So people could think, if do she need medication? Does she not see that that's not actually her? That's not no, 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 no. He's saying that so it can go into the ground and show up in your life. He says, let the weak say I am strong. Not so you could look crazy. It's so it can go into the ground and show up in your life. Let the poor say I am rich. So it can go into the ground and it can show up in your life. Because your words are a contract and a seed. And if you want to optimize God's math for your life, purify the seed, purify your words, because they're going to go into the ground and show up in your life.